Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of RawRadiantHealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So it's Friday, it's the end of the week, and I'm loving it. And I finally got some sunshine. As you guys know, I've been waiting for this all week because it's been like gloom and doom here in Montreal. And yeah, so there's some sun today. And today I want to talk about women's issues. Over like the past 24 hours, I've been getting all these requests for me to talk about women's issues having to do with hormone imbalances, PMS, irregular periods, all of that. Menopausal symptoms, you name it. I'm going to help you today with it because I do actually have a lot of experience with having a hormone imbalance. As you guys know, I used to have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I was able to completely reverse it. I'm cured of it. I do not have any symptom of polycystic ovarian syndrome. And pretty much I used to have cysts that covered my ovaries. My hormones were all imbalanced, usually too elevated, okay? And I also, my period had stopped for many years. I pretty much had polycystic ovarian syndrome for about 6 or 7 years, okay? Maybe about 6 years. And I would go through stretches of 2 to 3 years with no period, okay? And when I would get a period, it would be like a nightmare. So I know what it's like to be dealing with this stuff, and plus I have a lot of clients that have hormone imbalances and also dealing with menopause, okay? And all this stuff, it's all related, whether you're dealing with really bad PMS or you're dealing with really bad menopausal symptoms. I have some suggestions for you. As long as, you know, the main thing is that in order to get your hormones balanced, you really have to kind of take the steps and commit yourself to taking these steps if you want to reverse it naturally, okay? And I've tried supplementation, I've tried even like, you know, there's progesterone creams, all that stuff, okay? Because I had doctors that wanted to put me on hormones, okay? And I didn't want to go on the hormones, and I tried the alternative route, and that was like a nightmare. And the only thing, over all these years of trial and error and trying different things out, different diets out, the whole 9 yards, the only thing that worked was really to go back to basics and change my diet and my lifestyle and to be eating whole foods, okay? And as much raw and fresh foods as possible. So I'm going to be really strict here because if you really are suffering from hormonal imbalances, whatever it's coming from and however it's affecting you, it's a nightmare. And you can do it simply and easily. It's just, you know, it's a matter of tweaking your diet a bit and letting go of certain foods that are causing the harm. Because the one thing that I noticed is that I had quick results the moment that I got rid of processed and refined sugar, the moment I let go of any kind of caffeine or stimulant like coffee, soda, and tea with caffeine in it, okay? That, and also getting rid of any trans fats and any kind of cooked or processed fats, okay, and oils. So what I'm talking about is getting rid of any kind of hydrogenated oils, like margarine, that kind of stuff. That is nasty. Getting rid of all trans fats and trying your best not to actually heat up oils, to actually keep oils raw. Add them into your food. If you're going to cook your food, you put it in after, but get rid of deep frying food or any kind of high heating of oils, okay? And here and there you can use coconut oil, but I would just, you know, I would kind of keep heating oil to the minimum, because these 3 things are what's causing you serious like havoc within the body, okay? It's throwing your hormones off balance, it's carcinogenic, and it's just making your body toxic. And the reason why, you know, the one thing that I've noticed is, you know, I have a lot of female friends that have all pointed out to me that, you know, in their early 20s, their PMS was barely anything, you know, they had easy periods, but as they got into their 30s and their 40s, it was like, you know, as years go by, their, you know, hormones, they get really affected by it. You know, their PMS was terrible. Their moods were through the roof. Their, you know, bloating and having to be actually in bed, and the cramping and everything would just get worse and worse as the years go by. And what I've come to see with that is it's because as years go by, you know, if we're continuing on sort of a processed junk food diet, we're becoming more and more toxic. You're carrying more of a toxic load, and therefore it has even more and more impact on your hormones and their levels, and it throws it off balance, and it's going to throw it more and more off balance. It's like every time you're eating, you know, drinking a soda or eating processed sugars, I mean, you see it where before you have it, you might be like this, and then suddenly you have your sugar, and it's like you get thrown up there, and then you get thrown down, and you're just constantly up and down and on a roller coaster ride, you know, feeling high and happy one moment, and then moody and aggravated and irritated the next. And a lot of that's coming from stimulating food that you're consuming. So I'm going to be really strict and say, if you really want to balance things out and you want to get rid of, you know, all these symptoms of a hormone imbalance, you got to take out all refined sugar. You've got to take out the trans fats and the heated fats and the hydrogenated oils and that kind of stuff, and you got to get off the stimulants, okay? And you can do this one step at a time, like, you know, for 1 month, get off the sugar, you know, or 2 months or 3 months, and then later on, take out the coffee, you know, and then a few months later, cut down on the heated oils, okay? Because you will notice a difference. Just by doing one little thing can make a huge difference. And I want to point out, because, you know, a few years ago, I was traveling around Japan for a couple of weeks, right? And you know, as they all say that, like, you know, studies have shown that Japanese women don't really have menopausal symptoms. They go through menopause, but they don't have the symptoms, the hot flashes and all that kind of stuff as most North American women do. You know, and you know, and the study said, oh, well, you know, it's because Japan, they eat a lot of soy products, okay? And traveling around Japan, I noticed that, okay, yeah, they do have a little bit of soy products here and there, but nothing compared to what is built up in the media. And and nothing compared to what North Americans eat as soy products. You'd be amazed. You might not be eating tofu, but if you're eating processed food, all of your processed food has some sort of soy byproduct, okay? So it's not the soy stuff that's like keeping you balanced and not keeping them balanced. It's that I noticed when I was traveling around Japan is that most of their food that they eat is fresh, okay? They're eating a lot of fresh fish, okay? Fresh, fresh, fresh. Nothing they're eating is processed. They have fresh fish and they have a crazy amount of sea vegetables, both of which are full of vitamins and minerals especially. They're not eating, you know, processed stuff. They're not eating things that have been preserved and full of chemicals. Everything has been grown and eating, and a lot of it is not even cooked, you know, and that's why, you know, it's like they have proper nutrition to get them through the years and through the bodily changes and not being all over the place. So I think it's more about eating unrefined food. That's what's going to keep your hormones balanced. The moment you start eating things that are processed, you're just throwing your body off balance because it doesn't even know what to do with it. Okay, so another thing though I also suggest is that if you do have hormonal imbalances, to also get into doing maybe a little bit of fasting here and there. You can do a little juice fasting, juice feasting, you know, once a month. Do like 2 or 3 days, you know, just give your body a break and allow it to detox, because a lot of times these PMS things, it's all coming up because you're carrying a little bit of an extra toxic load. I also suggest too, for anyone that goes through PMS, that is a time where your body actually needs a bit of extra fat. I know a lot of people crave like chips and fried food, and your body does need the extra fats, but it doesn't need it from the trans fats and the fried fats. It needs it from whole like non-processed fats that can come from, you know, chia seeds and sunflower seeds and maybe a bit of nuts, things like that, and eat your greens and get into the green juices as well to keep you mineralized and keep you balanced, okay? So stay off the processed food, get into whole foods, unrefined, fresh food, okay? So I'm wishing you guys a fabulous, fabulous weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Ciao!